Mic test, mic test. All right, what's going on, Bo? Just trying to get some more viewers into the stream. Power hour, right? This one's gonna be a little different. I'm not streaming it publicly. I'm just streaming it to subscribers. I really want to cover indices. I want to cover what's going on in the stock market. We're also gonna cover Bitcoin. We're gonna cover alts. We're gonna cover quite a bit. But I believe we're seeing something in the stock market that we haven't seen in a very long time. What's going on, Yorsh? Andrew? Just go ahead and pull up. I'm on my ultra wide monitor, so it's gonna distort a bit. Just want to make sure that everything's visible. And here we go. So we spotted the pullback on the stock market a while ago, right? We wrote about this, started shorting it. We got out here, and then we opened a short later on. And we're seeing a pullback, right? The S&P 500 pulled back to the 50% fib, which is about a 9% pullback from the head and shoulders that we had seen. And I don't think that's sufficient, right? And one reason I don't think that's sufficient is we do have the head and shoulders for a 13% pullback, and I bounced off the 1,000-day moving average, which is the 50% fib. The last time we saw a bounce off the 1,000-day moving average wasn't quite 2015, right? The last time we saw one of these pullbacks after an extended bull run was before the 2008 financial crisis, right? I'm going to get rid of this. I wrote an article on Medium about what's happening and why BTC can potentially be the hedge. And this is all relevant, right? Because I know most of you guys are in crypto. Some of you guys shorted traditional markets with us. Some of you guys long DGAS with us, which have all been phenomenal trades, right? And where we see opportunity, we're going to come in, we're going to take it, because that's why we're in markets. We shouldn't just limit ourselves to one market. Once we see opportunity, we should hop on it. BTC taught us a lesson, which is short early and keep shorting. Now, so we're seeing a bounce off the 1,000-day moving average, which is something we haven't witnessed since 2008, which is crucial, right? Especially after an extended bull run. Now, we did see some bounces over here off of it, which could just be corrective waves. This is just the SPY chart. I do have the S&P futures pulled up as well. We'll go into that shortly. Now what's going on with the S&P, right? This is our swing low. This is our swing high. We have our fib set up. We did see a 50% pullback for some intense buying volume to bring price back up. We know usually 50%, a bounce off the 50% fib is typically bullish, right? Very bullish. But we kind of want to let this one play out, right? Because on the intraday charts, we haven't really broken the downtrend. We haven't quite broken the downtrend. Quite a bit of friction here. And we don't have a bullish div. Moving averages are still telling me this thing's bearish. No, I did get out of some shorts back here before flying between my flights. Did go home for Christmas, and I'm back in Puerto Rico. We want to see what happens at this level, right? So the 1,000-day moving average is acting as support. I believe the 500 should be resistance, right? If the S&P can clear this downtrend. And if not, then this can essentially be just another big bear flag for another bounce down. And one thing we know, markets don't usually single bottom, right? It's not really a thing. We want to see a double bottom. Every pullback has been, or every time the stock market has bounced, has been off several attempts to breach the same low, right? And this is the only time we had this one strong V formation for an extended range, breakdown again, breakdown lower into the next leg up. Now, interestingly, the S&P pulled back to the 50% fib, but other indices have not, right? So going into the QQQ, we're just at a 38.2 retracement with a rejection at the 23. So we're seeing a rejection here at the 23% fib. We had a pullback to 38. 500-day moving average is acting as resistance. So I do want to see this one come back down to the 50. So ideally, I don't think this correction is done. I don't think it's done. I think the QQQ has to pull back to the 50% fib, or at least kiss the 1,000-day moving average. Try to find support there. And ironically, we haven't seen the QQQ go through 08, right? I tried to go back in time, and that data is just not there. It was actually going right into a bull run. I need this thing to catch up. Actually, no, 2008 is there, right? And we did see a bounce off the 1,000-day moving average. We're still not there. Currently, we are not there. This is 08. And we're currently seeing resistance at the 500-day MA. We haven't seen the 1,000-day touch just yet, but then again, the QQQ likes to bounce off the 38.2 before crash diving down. So I want to see what happens in terms of what's going to happen at these long-term moving averages on the daily chart. We're seeing the 50 cross above the 200. That happened a while ago. With 100 crosses below the 200, stock market's going to be in trouble. And the reason I'm saying that, well, we've been tracking this, we traded this, and I'm looking to reopen shorts very soon. And then gold, right? Gold has been acting as a hedge. And let's just do gold USD. All right, so since October, gold has been acting as a hedge and going up. So we essentially know that institutions, traders are essentially hedging in gold currently. And it's actually gone up at a pretty high rate. It's not where it was earlier, like January, February, during January, February lows of the market, the stock market coming down. But it's looking fairly bullish. It's still range bound. It hasn't broken out. So we'll definitely know if markets are crashing when gold gets out of this range. And so there's also potentially a long trade setting up. Oh, my chart's all over the place. There's going to be a long trade setting up on gold. We can probably long this at 3x leverage like we did some other indices. So I'm going to be monitoring gold as well as indices this coming week to announce the next short. Our top gainers in the stock market were the 3x ETFs and also DGAS. And I don't think this one's done, right? This thing gapped down to $2, and that's when I announced, hey guys, DGAS is looking prime. You should definitely long it. And then they had a reverse split. DGAS was at $30 from 30 to 92. It's just been an amazing run up. What's driving this is natural gas prices. And this is what happens when hedges and certain things break out of a range, right? I was just talking about the gold range. Well, natural gas broke out of the range and went sky high. When I saw this, decided, hey guys, it's time to short natural gas. We're going to long DGAS at 3x. And it's been a really nice move up. For those of you guys that have been in since the initial, we're up like some 90% on this trade, if not 100. So it's been pretty good. All right, moving into crypto, right? So we do know that Bitcoin has a hedge capability. If we see gold go up, we see stock market come down, we could see a big run up in BTC. If you guys read my Medium article that I posted yesterday, was the day before, essentially we saw BTC break the direct correlation with the stock market in December, mid-December. And I'll go ahead and highlight that. And it started acting as a hedge. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to turn off all these indicators. I'm just going to do it real simple. If you guys have questions, please go ahead and ask, right? That's why I'm here. So we're going to go to XBT USD. And we still have the S&P. That's the S&P futures. Go to regular S&P. SPY. And remove all drawing tools. Alright, so we got this thing in sync. And let's go to 240. All right, so Bitcoin essentially broke the correlation, right? As the traditional stock market was selling off, so is BTC, and we'd see a big drop off in indices, and we'd say, hey, Bitcoin's likely to come down with them. And if we missed the short, well, they were running in direct correlation up until December 18th, right? That's when BTC made that initial leg up, and it's gonna be somewhere right there. December 18th. Come on, there you go. So BTC started this rally and indices continued diving. We did see this pullback to the upside in traditional stock market, right? And BTC kind of came back down. So in terms of breaking the correlation and starting to act like a hedge, that we've seen that already happen. Now, whether the inverse correlation is going to continue or not, I can't quite judge it just yet. But one thing I'm waiting on before leveraging a heavy long on BTC is going to be the neckline. Canby wrote about this. I published on this, right? So you've got a pretty strong neckline zone. I got this highlighted in my Medium article. I'm just going to go ahead and draw this one out. We've got an inverse head and shoulders setting up on Bitcoin. Last time we saw one of these was in June, and we traded it, and it was pretty successful, right? I've kind of been more long on ETH on Max, right? Because I believe ETH is gonna go through a pretty substantial rally, and it has been, right? I announced that, said, hey guys, make sure you're 20% in ETH, and that's been fairly lucrative. Now moving into this neckline, we've had quite a bit of volatility where we see a lot of wicks. It's not a clear decisive line. So I had this thing between 4K and 41 is going to be the critical level. We want to see BTC close above 41. If you wanted to extend that more, maybe use these wicks. This was the top of the shoulder. Extend that out. Just trying to include all the wicks. So ideally, I want to see at least clear this line. Get back in the 4K, 4100. Clear the neckline before longing heavy on leverage. That's just gonna be the safe play. I'm not gonna short it until then. I'm just gonna let things go on, just kind of unfold on their own. There's no reason to force a trade when there's a lot of other possibilities, such as ETH, such as alts, such as short selling the stock market, such as DGAS. So there's opportunity. We're gonna take it, right? We're gonna capitalize on these sure moves instead of I'm gonna do that. Now, Canby and Lido have been keeping up with XBT like champs, right? They've done really well on leverage. I've been traveling, so I haven't had the time to dedicate to XBT positions. Not until now. So I'm back in Puerto Rico. All right, you guys, ask me some questions, please. Another interesting thing, right? I saw this setting up and I said, hey, we're going to see probably a pullback to 61.8. We saw that after several tests of the 50. Current formations, there's a possibly a descending broadening wedge. I don't like it very much. It's actually not quite there yet. So I'm literally waiting for this to happen. If you clear that 39 range, clear that 4K, that's going to be stronger indications that the Head and Shoulders is likely to compete. I had some pretty awesome holidays. If you want to know the story, I flew in to see my parents. They weren't expecting me. I told them I wasn't coming, so I surprised them. I showed up on Christmas Eve. Nobody was expecting it. It was awesome. It was awesome. It was an emotional moment for them. And I flew back in Puerto Rico. On the way back, it was terrible. I missed my first flight flying out of Dallas, and I didn't miss it. I flew my first flight, and I flew out late. I missed my second flight. I got rerouted from Chicago to Philly, from Philly to Puerto Rico. It took me about 24 hours to get back here instead of 7. So it's been rough, but I'm back on all gears. All right, so ETH USD. I posted some upwards target on it, right? Someone had said, "Hey, is this a Head and Shoulders developing?" Well, it's still in Dallas. Things like Christmas Day. I didn't respond. I did not respond for a reason, right? So Market Maker has been accumulating so much ETH under the radar, and we can look at altcoin ETH charts. And now it's time for an Ether upwards move. So looking at ETH and looking at BTC, I'm just going to put XBT on top. Just going to remove the drawing tools. So I'm just going to draw a straight line across from that last swing high. All right, so BTC's last swing high was this orange line, so 44.39. And guess what? Price hasn't broken above our last swing high. What happened with ETH? Last swing high during this correction was right here, okay? Which was 127. Now, when these markets, if you go back through my notes and PDFs about bear market bottoms, when markets start doing this, when they break above the previous swing high in a correction, come back and retest it for quite a bit of bullish momentum, they start looking really bullish, right? That's another reason I'm fairly firm on ETH, and we might see them try to capitulate. Don't have a really big Ether margin position, but I'm very Ether heavy as well currently. And ETH has been outperforming most alts. What kind of pullback was this? This is 68%, right? Not even, just it barely wicked off of it. Very strong retracement. Touched the 50 once, came back down, and now what we're seeing, if we put this on a 4-hour chart, it's looking like a reverse pennant, right? And reverse pennant is just like a traditional pennant. It's a zigzag or continuation triangle. And this is why I'm really liking ETH. I mean, I posted on ETH back here, said, hey guys, this thing's still bullish. I made a big leg up the same day, retraced back down, and now it's back above the range where I called it at, back above that $130 range. So looking at this formation, and you just take that swing high, go down and swing low, and put up some fib targets. I do have quite a few convoluted fibs on here. Let's get rid of the 2.2. Let's get rid of the 3.2. Let's get rid of the 3. And now we just have our regular traditional fibs. We got our 1.618, 2.618, 3.618, and 4.23. And looking at these targets, let's put some price labels on them. We got the 158 Fib. We got $158, $183, 207, and 223. All right, so these are gonna be my ether targets to the long side. And another main reason I'm more bullish on ETH is the break of the downtrend, closing above the last swing high, and essentially starting to make upwards moves again. If you're just going to do a downtrend fib on BTC, right, it's still looking like it's lagging behind. And historically, they don't rally at the same time, right? What's this formation? Just like a parallel channel. Alright, so if BTC wants to come back down and test support at the bottom of this channel, it's going to break, this looks like a 61.8. If you do a swing low to swing high, if you have a fib retracement instead of an extension, that's going to put it in a pretty bad territory, right? It's going to make me, if we break below these previous lows, maybe a little disappointed in BTC. It's going to end up coming back down in a more price discovery, probably retest last low. But ETH cleared the zone. Now, if this is a bull flag on BTC, then things are going to get really interesting. And it's looking like it could potentially be setting up for a bull flag. Then we're looking at 49. Then we got our inverse head and shoulders target. And then we're looking at 59. And 64 if this is the bull flag. So BTC, we want to wait to see what happens at the neckline, then we can have some violent moves to the upside. I don't think ETH is going to lose all of its potential if BTC breaks up, right? Going back to some previous rallies this year, and let's go to the daily chart. And I'll answer the TA will fail. So TA tells us that a retracement more than 61.8 is bearish, right? So that's going to be the bearish scenario, breaking that previous low, breaking below 61.8. That's going to be bearish, right? The TA will, if it closes the neckline, the likelihood of a continued rally with I think there was a 25% target to the upside, that's the likelihood of that happening is going to be a lot higher than it not happening, right? It's more about likelihood of something happening. Back to BTC losing momentum. I want to talk about some of these rallies that we saw earlier, 2018. Do a daily chart on ETH. Where are we at right here? So the April rally, we're going to take swing low to swing high and time and duration. Let's get this out of the way. BTC rallied 51% for 28 days, right? And then if you go to the April rally on ETH, that's ETH USD, we're going to go swing low to swing high. ETH rallied 133%, right? So during some of these rallies, this is the same time frame, ETH had 2x the gains. So during the April rally, moving forward, what was the next BTC rally? It's just going to be June, July. June, July, Ether didn't do much during that rally. So it could go either way. But in terms of USD, like the USD pair, ETH is currently looking more bullish than BTC. I'm going to put some moving averages. These are my bearish trend moving averages, and let's remove all drawing tools. So price is above, I think that's our 50-day moving average, right? So that's acting as support. Price is below it. They haven't started moving up to the upside. They really haven't. The pennant is rather strong, this one. So I want to see what happens here, right? We could even see a 50% pullback on the smaller move. And if we do, that might be another chance to go long again, or to add, or even long on margin. We should put ETH at 130 range, so right back where we longed it. Hello J6. All right, so I think I answered all the questions in the chat so far. If you guys have altcoin questions, suggestions, please ask, and I'll go ahead and cover them for you. So one thing I'm disappointed on is Komodo, right? It kind of, we had a long signal with a stop at like 6. It's pretty disappointing, right? We knew this thing was gonna run. I was traveling in this range. We had a pennant, price broke down, then started moving back up to the upside. So this was a little disappointing that we didn't quite catch this big swing. But KMD ETH, I posted on this today, right? So if we've been saying in ETH, we didn't quite miss out on much. On the daily chart, these are just wicks, and it's just now clearing that zone. So if we're sitting in ETH, we didn't miss out on much in terms of accumulating USD or even BTC. Now this thing's starting to break out on a 1 hour. I'll wait till it opens up here. I do have a long position on KMD ETH, right? I like trading these breakouts a little early. And the targets on this one are huge, especially if ETH is making that run we're talking about, and KMD can still outperform ETH. This would be one of like the top. Anytime we can outperform the top performer in crypto, that's when we're making those real deal crypto gains, right? That's how we made thousands of % last year on some of the silliest trades, like EMC Squared made over 1,000% in BTC value, while BTC went from 7 to 14K. So we made small fortunes in that trade. And so it's trade setups like this that are outperforming the top trading pair, or the top performing traded pair, that really interest us. I'm gonna go through the list, going over lumens. All right. XLM hasn't showed much force. I'm gonna add an RSI to this chart, and it really hasn't. We did see these divergent highs, right? So this was a divergent high. This one wasn't quite as divergent. It was higher, but then we saw price break down. Fundamentally, there's no reason for lumens to break down, to go bearish. It did have quite a stellar rally, and then it broke back down. It is currently at support, right? And this has been support for a longer time of the year. So if we're range traders, support resistance traders, like this looks like a good time to accumulate lumens. Moving averages haven't given us another long signal, right? So not on the daily chart, not this set of MAs. We do have several other sets of MAs. These are giving us a weaker buy signal. There was a little bit of a bull flag. We did see a rally. Let me go intraday, see what we're seeing. Not quite. It's still a range trade. It's still a range trade. We do believe that XM is going to be added to Coinbase at some point. This could be the pre-Coinbase price suppression before price does move up. So Pivx, this has been a really, really good time for Pivx holders, right? I signaled this one. I signaled it early. Should be outperforming ETH. And look at that, Right, so PIVX outperformed the top performer for a bit. We do want to see a rally continuation. One thing about PIVX, I don't know how long you guys have been in crypto, but PIVX was one of the biggest gainers last year in general. PIVX made, just going over like market cycles, in terms of gains, PIVX made 16,000% last year. I'm not saying it's going to do that again. It's not going to do that right now, but in terms of what this token can do and has done, I'm still long on PIVX. I'm still holding PIVX. I don't see a reason to get shaken out just yet. If we're gonna, once again, looking like at the Ether chart from earlier, in the BTC chart, we see this last swing high, price broke above it. We want to see this area turn into support. All right, for now, PIVX has quite a bit of momentum. It might come back down and retest that the 23,000 Satoshi range before it continues the next leg up. And fib targets, like what are we seeing on fibs? Swing low to swing high to swing low, right? Like fibs are always going to be our go-to for targets. The 28,000 Satoshi range target has been hit. So if we get bullish continuation, right, there's going to be quite a bit more of upwards motion. We'll check RSI, we'll check stochastic, we'll check more indicators, see if you have any divergence. Don't see like a rising wedge or anything. It's just been straight really long candles up, bullish engulfing candles and bearish engulfing candles. There's no head and shoulders on the intraday. Not quite clear on any formation happening, right? But we almost want to see what happens at 22.9 again. And that's how we trade these swing trades. Going over NEM. Alright, so NEM was one of our top gainers. I'm currently stopped out in NEM, looking for a re-entry. Can this be a head and shoulders? I don't see this as a clear neckline. It tested above it. Let's start with a fib retracement. Let's pick up our last swing low. I'm gonna use this range low, and we'll stretch it out from there and try different ones. So we're at a 50% retracement. We haven't seen buy volume come in real bullishly and try to pick price up. We're gonna wait this one out. All right, we're seeing somewhat of a possibly a reverse descending that triangle or reverse ascending wedge. I want to see what happens at 61.8 before I pick up any more NEM or re-enter this trade, because we saw that first bounce off the 50, price came back down. This was bullish, right? These two bounces were bullish. I think bounce off the 61.8 and we should be clear to go. 61.8 is the golden ratio, right? It just is. It's the perfect level of profit taking before a chart continues to go up. That being said, we just like BTC bounced off 61.8. There was somewhat of an ascending triangle here. So NEM is technically still bullish until it breaks a 61. All right, so this could be a reverse ascending triangle or a descending broadening wedge. This is definitely a bullish formation. Bounce off the 50, boom, goes up, gets rejected, comes back down. I don't think NEM is done, right? In terms of market cycles, I think NEM's got another leg up. I was asked about RSI. Let's go ahead and add that. So there is quite a bit of bullish dev right here. I just want to see. I want to see volume come back in and pick price back up. All right, moving on. XRP EOS. XRP has been bullish. It's been really, really bullish. Currently, last time I signaled XRP was before this leg up, right? And once I hit target, I profit took. I've been out of XRP. I've been the only things I have on margin right now are Ether USD and Ether futures. I've been traveling. I haven't had the time to really dive in, and plus there's a lot of other fruitful opportunities on the market, so there's no reason to force a trade. That being said, RSI has been divergent on the 4-hour, right? And we see that it's fairly clear bear div. Let's go to the 1 day. Daily, not quite as bad. I'm gonna look at XRP USD. Let's do that. Now these two highs are somewhat divergent. This could possibly mean for Ripple, whenever RSI fails to make a new high, this could be called a failure swing, right? And what a failure swing is, it's like the first sign of a possible incoming reversal. So it can happen to the upside or to the downside. And when that happens, we're gonna expect price to essentially break back down. Now, moving averages on the daily are still giving a pretty good long signal, right? It's not saying exit, not these MAs. My other MAs, my other strategy is saying it's looking really bullish, which is odd, right? We got our ADX, which is our trend strength indicator, not quite at 25. What is it at? 20? Yeah, so 24, 25. That's typically saying, when that happens, we typically see a big leg up. Now, chart formations, there is a cup and handle, probably a double cup and handle. We saw that on Mana, and Mana broke to the downside, right? So I would wait for an intraday pennant before I long Ripple. I would wait for just more indication of an upside, like a breakout formation of some sort. Let's go to Ripple US dollar. So at 36 cents, right? It's been wanting to maintain that range. So we're still in range. We're still in a range mode. Ripple's not in breakout mode, right? I'd consider Ripple in breakout if it goes above 37 cents. And so this is the range. This will give us a better indication of what Ripple is doing on its own. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a lot of touches at this range, and now it's trying to constrict. So we can see that volatility is going to come in here at some point because price action is constricting. Set alerts on 37 and 34. These are my areas of interest. I want to either buy the breakout or buy support. Italy follow ETH. EOS. Looks like you're hunting down a margin position with alts. EOS doing the same thing, somewhat of a cup and a handle. This looks like it could be. See, volume's definitely dying off in EOS. Just the volume trend is not indicative of a continuation. I know CAMB signaled it for some gains. I'm not sure if he closed out of this trade. I would follow Cam closely with what he does with EOS. So, somewhat of a falling wedge, breakout, no retest. Little bit of a bull flag, breakout. EOS is in range. I don't like range trading on margin. Alright, but you know, long resistance, short sub, or long support, short resistance, unless it does a breakout formation, and long the breakout formation. Let's look at the daily, check on ADX. Looks like the trend is going to slow down to 24. I'm not seeing trend acceleration here. Relatively flat, 23, 24. I'd look for the range breakout, especially this tighter range breakout. I'm currently not holding any EOS on margin. TRX. This is interesting. TRX's trend is getting to a turning point, right? If you look at the daily chart, it's at a turning point. It's at a trends and measuring them in ADX are either trends turn at a peak or a trough, right? And I have a video on the DMI indicator, which is the indicator at the bottom of my chart. The histogram is the ADX. And typically when we see a peak, a price peak, that lets us know that the trend is somewhat over. Same thing with a trough, right? A trough is going to be the bottom of the ADX. It lets us know that that trend is over. So looking at this, with ADX being this high, it's higher than previous price peaks. There is a likelihood of this thing coming down. Another interesting possibility is a diamond top. It's not quite there. It's a little jaded, but this thing could do a diamond top and come back down. Currently, it's an incomplete. So typically with these, I would want to see it break down from the diamond before rushing into a trade. So we want to see this thing finish out before opening a short. What will outperform ETH closely? I think we just gotta monitor the charts, the volume monitor, and keep up with it. I can't show anything off the top of my mind. Market cycles have been changing. This market's a lot different than it was 6 months ago or a year ago. Update on the bots. When will they be online? So Tuesday at noon, I have a meeting with our developers here in Puerto Rico. We should have the altcoin bot going. That being said, the BitMEX bot was on BitMEX testnet. I packed up that laptop, took it to Dallas with me, and brought it back. Didn't get a chance to plug it in Dallas like I wanted to. So we're going to get back on testnet tomorrow. And then I'll be posting the trades, what it's doing, as an update in Saber Notes. That being said, I'm working on a couple other strategies on an Ether accumulator and a BTC accumulator, going to run on various alts that are going to be bot stable, right? So we're still working on other strategies, but our altcoin signal bot is should be ready for testing this week at some point. That was the last update I had from developers. I see him again on Tuesday, so it's going to be might have an update for you guys on Tuesday. We can plug in and have the bot take control via signals. All right. You guys have any more questions? Any questions on BTC or ETH or traditional assets? Alright guys, so taking no more questions. Thank you all for tuning into the stream. I look forward to markets opening tomorrow, seeing what happens with the stock market, whether we're gonna long or short the fib levels, right? The moving averages I was talking about. It's gonna be interesting watching it all unfold, picking good positions, possibly some puts and calls, right? Zenbombs has been doing that. I had some puts on the SQQQ and the SRTY that did phenomenal. So I'm going to be announcing some of those if I do enter those positions. And yeah, you're welcome, Georgia. You guys are welcome. Thanks for tuning in, Solomon. Thank you all. I'll catch you guys on Discord. And Happy New Year. If I don't stream tomorrow, Happy New Year. Happy holidays.